Welcome back to the Trick Talking Meat podcast with your hosts, Brother John, and with me as always, the spoiled bat, Allie. Say
Yeah.
what up, yo.
How you doing?
And we're coming at you again live from Quark's Gaming and Bar Emporium. It is hot as hell.
It is. It is awful out there.
It is the devil's anus.
And it's sweaty.
It's sweaty.
It's nasty.
It's not good.
No.
Today's episode, though, we're going to be talking about new stuff. We're going to be moving on. We're going to be talking about what I feel is the greatest cartoon of the 1990s. I think we could argue this.
Yes.
I know she has a far different opinion, and probably everybody listening has a different opinion than me, but Batman the Animated Series, starring Kevin Conroy, is the immortal, the legendary voice of Batman.
As much as I love the animated series, I have to argue that I think Gargoyles was the top. Just based on the voice actors, the characterization, the stories it's intense, and it was so dark for a kid's show.
Was that the answer from Disney, I think?
Yeah.
For the Batman animated series. Oh, well, you could do that.
Yep.
And they had Mark Hamill, and I'm a Trekkie, and I should be saying Gargoyles, because hell, half the cast was on that show, too. Was it
Jonathan
Frakes?
Frakes.
Surtees was on there.
Yep.
Michael Dorn did some episodes of that.
Yep. Darn it. I'm totally blanking on his name, and I should know. Data.
Brent Spiner.
Brent Spiner. That's it. Thank you. I was totally blanking.
Brent Spiner. Everybody loves Data.
I know, right? But he was on it. He was one of my favorite characters too.
He's part of the mom litmus test. If my mom can tell you who Data is, everybody knows who Data is.
Yep.
She doesn't even watch Star Trek, but she knows.
Yep.
The legendary Kevin Conroy, of course, passed away within the last year, but I will always forever remember Kevin, because every time I read a Batman comic book now, that's the voice in my head.
Yep.
And I think that's for most people. What do you think?
I think anytime I'm writing Batman fan fiction,
Yep.
it's
Right.
insane. That's I listen and think, would Kevin Conroy say this? And if not, then I don't write it.
Right.
Yep.
And I think the thing that was appealing about Conroy is that he did a really great Bruce Wayne too. There was a distinction between the two characters.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, God, yeah.
He lowered his octave like a half octave when
Right.
it came to doing Batman, and he brightened up his delivery when he was Bruce Wayne. I mean, the man was great, and I will not argue that whatsoever. He is vocally my Batman, though I am kind of partial to Michael Keaton, but that's everyone.
Everybody loves Michael Keaton. What do you
Right.
think about the Flash movie?
I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I have not. Okay, so I really haven't watched any the last DC movie that I have watched, I think, was Joker, and I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
I hated it.
It didn't hate it. I just thought it was boring.
I thought
It was not
I
for
thought
me.
it was boring and at times gratuitous, and it's just, maybe I'm just too attached to the comic characterization of Joker. It's not a Joker movie to me. It's not Joker at
It's
all.
a version of it. I'm excited about the new Joker movie.
I would
Part
be
two.
interested.
Folie à Deux. What is that? What they're calling it? Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, and it's a
Yeah.
musical. How dope is that?
Quoi de do? Yeah.
The reviews so far are bombing it.
Yeah,
Really?
they are dropping it
Really?
bad.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk shit about it at some point on the show, but
Right.
as we start going on these like regularly and weekly,
Once it comes on Max, then we can talk about it.
right? That's kind of what I did with the Flash. But you know what? Honestly, I liked it. I'm kind of a weirdo. I mean, I'm not a big Ezra Miller fan by any means, but I
Yeah.
liked the movie. I thought it was fun.
I mean, I do want to see it because, with Michael Keaton having been in it and
And it's not like a cameo either. You get like
Yeah,
full on,
he's,
like
like,
a third of
full
the
on
movie.
there.
Yeah, he's there. Like
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get cheated. Like he'd just show up at the Batcave and kind of just be on your merry way and run
Yeah.
somewhere else. But no, he was there for the
Right?
majority of the movie.
yeah, no, I had
was
heard
shocked.
about that. I had heard about that.
Now, if that hadn't happened, I would have told you the movie probably sucked. But
Well, I mean, Michael Keaton seems to save anything
Michael Keaton is like
nowadays.
the modern day Robert Duvall. He could be in anything and it's going to be good.
Oh yeah. I mean, even Beetlejuice has like you'd think that it would really suck, but apparently it has made twice as much as it costs so far, and it's only been out for a week.
I'm 50-50. Have you seen it?
No, not yet. I
I'm kind
want
of in
to
the
really
middle
bad.
with Beetlejuice because it's a 2-hour movie, man, and it's
Yep.
good in the third act.
Really?
It's I can't really I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah.
there's not enough. It's not his movie until like the third act. It's just kind of
Ugh.
sitting there with your thumb up your ass waiting for Michael Keaton to show up and do Beetlejuice.
Ah.
It was good. I just
Well, see, I'm a bit. I Beetlejuice was a movie I watched
religiously, yes.
constantly when I was younger.
I've probably watched it twice this year, even before I figured the movie was coming
My
out.
dad calls me Babes because of the cartoon. Because that's what he calls Lydia in the cartoon constantly is Babes. And so my dad has called me Babes for years because of that. So it is.
I like the movie. I will say this. I won't say it's a home run, but it was all right. It's just they had too many plot lines trying to go through it. There's too much exposition. Just get to the point. Let's get on with it. I think that's what works about the first Beetlejuice movie. It was all self-contained in one house.
Yeah.
There was only a certain set amount of characters coming and going from said house.
Yeah.
And when you try to expand it out into this massive world, it was just like it's too much going on. Just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
It's his movie.
Yeah.
I don't care what Lydia Dietz has been doing for 30 years. Just start fucking with her again. I mean, that's all you really
hanging out in the upside down. That's,
Sure.
That's
Oh, but zing.
Yeah. But yeah, no. But really, going back to animated series. And we'll get to gargoyles, I'm sure, in a bit. But what's your favorite episode?
Batman?
Yeah.
Almost got him.
Which one's that one?
They're all the villains are sitting around playing a game of poker, and they're all telling their
Oh,
almost
yeah,
got him
yeah.
story about Batman, and they get to the Killer Croc, and then they're all like leading it, and then and I threw a rock at him, and they all look at him like he's completely moronic. It was great. It was a big rock.
I love Baby Doll.
And it turns out it was Croc was Batman the whole time, sitting there at the card game, just screwing with him. Like, I could have stopped your ass all this whole time, but I'm just
Right.
going to humor you guys and listen to this bullshit, and then I'm going to stomp your ass.
No, that
True
one's a
Batman
good one.
style.
That one's a good one.
Yours was Baby Doll.
Mine was Baby Doll.
Is that the...
That's the one with the she's a little kid, but then you find out that she's actually a full-grown woman. She
Right.
had like a medical condition to where she didn't age.
Right, yeah. That's into the Batman and Robin Adventures. That's the later
it?
seasons. Yeah, I think so. Which were also good. They just changed up the animation, and I never liked it.
Yeah, no, there were certain aspects of Bruce Timm's stuff that I like, designs that I liked in the original, and then some not so much. And then like if you had mixed up the two, like I didn't like the change of Ivy or Catwoman.
Yeah, where they made her green.
Yeah, and Catwoman like
turned
white.
gray. Yeah, like some
Yeah.
kind of weird face painted white. That and the Mr. Freeze redo was terrible.
Yeah,
I like the
the
original
movie
series.
was great.
What, the Arnold Schwarzenegger flick?
No,
Oh.
no.
Oh, you're talking about Sub-Zero,
animated,
the movie.
Sub-Zero,
Yeah. No, that movie was awesome. I always said after that they should have made Patrick Stewart Mr. Freeze
Right.
in a movie. Could you imagine him in that same outfit from the cartoon with those little red glowing goggle eyes? And just that voice would have been just insane.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, that's the same world where we got Robin Williams as the Riddler.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, well, okay, get me wrong, because I don't like Jim Carrey movies anyway.
Yeah.
But he sucked as the Riddler. I'm sorry, he was just ripping off.
And I'm a
Nicholson
big
from the
Riddler
first movie.
fan too, and I just too over the top.
I think for all the time, the best Riddler in media currently was in the Arkham games. That was awesome.
Yes, yes.
If you haven't played those Arkham games, they're fantastic.
great.
Supposedly they're going to bring out another one. There's a new
Really?
Batman something coming around the corner.
I know with
But
with
Jim,
Gotham Knights, I think video game Batman at the moment is kind of at a downward turn.
yeah, I wasn't a fan of it either. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't like dislike Jim Carrey, but I just felt like I was watching the Joker again. It was just too much.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It seemed like he was trying to play the Joker with the over the topness. I always see Riddler more as an intelligent,
Quiet,
yeah,
reserved guy.
yeah, like he is the type of person who would end up like killing you and smiling while doing it, but saying
He's
nothing.
the weird guy in the back of the room that doesn't say nothing at the party. He's just pretending to inspect a tree, but he's plotting the murder of everyone in the
Yep,
room.
yep, yep. That's Riddler. That is
That's
Riddler.
and yeah, Jim Carrey was just too over the top, and
Yeah.
I still think they should have had what was it? Billy D. Williams was the original Two Face of the Keaton movie, wasn't he?
Yep.
Didn't he
Yep.
play Harvey Dent in the
He
original
did play.
flick, and then
Yep.
they changed over to Tommy Lee Jones for
Yep.
no
For
apparent
some
reason?
Well,
Yeah,
no.
the famous line about ghosts and goblins.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, there was an inexplicable reason. It was Joel Schumacher. That
Just
was
didn't like him.
he just yeah no he didn't.
Huh.
I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking, but yeah.
Did I ever
he
tell
didn't
you
seem to
about when I
like
got kicked out of Dragon Con by Billy D. Williams?
No,
Should I tell the story about being kicked out of Dragon Con
I
by
kind
Billy D.
of
Williams?
I kind of want to hear
You
this.
can't just start it
Well,
and not tell it.
that's
Right?
very true. So many years ago, if you set the Wayback Machine, I haven't been to Dragon Con, and it's not because I was kicked out or banned for life or any dumb shit like that. There's just entirely too many damn people at that thing. I mean, it's an awesome con,
Yeah.
and it looks like it'd be a hell of a lot of fun, but like San Diego Comic Con, you'd have to pay me and chauffeur my ass around that town because I'm not going. I don't like going to Atlanta on its best day, not let
Right?
alone when there's an extra 70,000 nerds at the hotel down at the Hyatt. But
Right?
and, oddly enough, then Disney did chauffeur me to San Diego Comic Con and paid me to walk around all day. That's another story. But many years ago, 25, 30 years ago, I went and I had my own comic book at the time, and it failed miserably. But that's neither here nor there. Also. But as I was there drinking, I had never drank before, and I still don't drink now, but I think it's one of the 3 times I was ever drunk in my entire life. Uh, Another friend of mine had introduced me to vodka that weekend, and shut up.
I know where this is headed. I'm sure.
It was funny because I was like, he's like, well, what do you drink? We're going to the liquor store. I'm like, well, I don't drink anything. And he's like, well, you are this weekend. I'm like, well, what I like? And he was like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, I think beer and liquor taste like ass anyway. And he said, well, then drink vodka. And I'm like, why? Because it doesn't taste like anything. I'm like, cool. He's like, you can mix it with orange juice. It's called a screwdriver. I'm like, is that what that is? So
Yep.
I drank like a fifth of Sky vodka that weekend
Oh
and
my
like
God.
one little 12-ounce Tropicana orange juice with it, and I was messed up. I had alcohol poisoning.
Mm.
But in the midst of all this, Billy D. Williams was a guest there, and he was signing, but he wasn't signing Star Wars crap. He wanted to sign his like shitty book that he'd kind of ghostwritten with whoever. And when we went to the liquor store to buy the fifth of Sky vodka, I procured a 40-ounce bottle of Colt 45 because I thought that would be awesome to have Billy D. Williams sign. Apparently, that was a low point in the career, and he, at that point, wasn't real proud of that moment. And let's just say that Billy D. Williams doesn't like it when you scream, "Don't fear the snake" at him from across the room of 20,000 people with a 40-ounce bottle of Colt 45. Needless to say, I was escorted out by security. I don't think I've been back to Dragon Con ever since. I probably need to go back one of these days. I need
Yeah.
to become more famous so I can.
Yeah, yeah. I've
How
been
great
once.
would that be? One day I will get that bottle. He came to Birmingham a year or two ago, and he was here at the con, and I was
Oh,
like, well, now's
yeah.
my chance, because hell, he's done a commercial for them since then. Like, I guess
Yeah.
hey man, I'm old, the money's good, why not? Ain't no shame in the game, Billy D. Just works every time. But I heard it was like $400, and then my wife is looking at me like, you're fucking crazy if you think you're going to take that bottle down there and have him sign that for that kind of money. I will leave you. And I'm like, so I did not get I had my chance, but alas, I did not still to this day get my Colt 45 signed.
Someday.
Someday.
It'll be
I'd
a
have to find a
someday thing.
40 ounce now. I don't even know where you'd go to get one anymore. Do they sell 40s anymore?
I don't even know.
I think so.
I saw Boone's Farm the other day at a gas station. I thought that was long past. I think we talked about that in the pilot episode, like the really crappy beers and the really crappy alcohol
Yeah,
of the
towards
19.
the end.
That's very 90s though, isn't it? That's the same time. I mean, I was only like 15 maybe around then. But Mad Dog, was it 40 2020? Is it Mad Dog 2020? Is that what it was? It was basically like vomit in a glass jar
Ugh.
you could get from a. It was Mad Dog 2020. I remember you could get those like for $5 or $6, and you could just get blitzed out. I had many of friends that would pay the local homeless guy to go into the gas
Oh
station
my
get a
god.
raspberry fruit flavored vomit Mad Dog 2020. I guess they're not going to be a sponsor on the show anytime soon.
Probably not. I don't know. I'd probably end up drinking it.
You know what? If Mad Dog 2020 wants to sponsor this piece of shit, I'm all in. I will drink one on the air. I will drink the whole thing on the air and
Yeah.
tell you how wonderful it is the whole time. We're actually going to do another segment. We're going to start drinking celebrity alcohols, so look out for that on TikTok and YouTube.
And enjoy it, because I don't like the taste of alcohol.
I still don't drink, but my wife was telling me again, wouldn't it be funny if you started drinking this stuff? I'm like, it'll be funny my reaction to drinking this stuff. So look for
Probably.
those coming soon. It's going to be a kind of a complimentary piece to the podcast here.
Yeah, YouTube will get the full episode. TikTok
YouTube-
will get the vomit takes.
Oh, okay, great. Well, see, there you go. Something
Yeah.
that's special for the YouTube kids, the YouTube
Yep.
generation. Right on. Back to the story, though. So, yes, I was thrown out of the Dragon Con by Billy D. Williams. But he was an excellent Harvey Dent. I will give him that. And Orlando Calrissian. I mean,
He
come on, I got
only
to fly
had
the
like
Falcon,
a
for God's sake.
line though as Harvey Dent.
He had more than one line, didn't he?
Did he
He
have
had a
more
few
than
lines.
one?
Because he was talking about the parade being canceled. And,
So he had 2 lines then.
I mean, he was like...
He was only in there for like 2 minutes, if not.
It was an important 2 minutes. God, don't you besmirch the good goddamn name of Billy D. Williams, Miss Thing.
I'm not besmirching him. I love Lando,
See...
Don't downplay his importance.
Don't downplay the importance of Harvey Dent.
but he's Lando for me.
He's always going to be Lando, but he was
Yeah.
Harvey Dent for us in Batman 1989. But
All right, so question for you.
sure,
You're saying Batman
right?
is the best one from the 90s.
Yes,
She's saying Gargoyles.
sure.
Hmm.
Why not any of the others?
What do you mean? Why not any of the others?
Well, like you've got...
Well, Fox Kids was killing it in the 90s.
Oh yeah, I mean you've got
Mid to late
you've got
90s.
X-Men.
X-Men.
X-Men is what got me reading comics, and X-Men is how I met you.
Don't say it like that.
That's how I met you.
It's how I got stuck with you.
Jeez, you suck. But you read really good comic books. In the 90s,
Yeah, you
X-Men
did.
were awesome because that was like Jim Lee era of X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
We were
Yeah.
in the reboot, the big reboot with the bitchin' cover. I have that tattooed on my arm.
Yep.
Magneto is the greatest villain of all time. So yeah, you had Spider-Man, you had X-Men, you had what else do we got in the 90s? We had
You have a lot of
The
people
Tick.
who. Yep, Tick.
Ben
Bucky
Edlund's
O'Hare.
the Tick. Bucky O'Hare was see
I was gonna say we had a lot of
Larry Hama.
anthropomorphic characters, like the biker.
Biker Mice from
Biker
Mars,
Mice
who have
from
returned
Mars.
here recently. I saw
Yeah.
the toys at Walmart earlier today.
Yeah, I did too. Like
I
not
almost
today,
bought a
but
set of them. I saw Street Sharks though, and I was compelled to buy
yep,
the other
Street
one.
Sharks again. That was another one.
Space Ghost Coast to Ghost.
Uncle George.
That was late.
That started back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Was it 1990?
It was about
1993.
Wow, that early? Like I figured around 96, but I didn't think 93.
Yeah, record says 117 episodes.
Wow.
get-
Three in
gonna-
2012.
I'm gonna try and get Uncle George to do a podcast with us here sometime. He'll probably be like our first special guest.
Yeah,
George
he's
Lowe,
a great guy.
one of the nicest, kindest human beings ever. And my side story to that is when I first started doing comic book conventions, I never had the largest part in movies, but I did my thing, and I was always kind of shunned off by the other people at these things, like I wasn't good enough or I didn't belong. And George was the first dude that would come over and talk to me
You know.
and had a conversation. I have the O.J. Simpson glove still. I think I get it from my sister though. Do you remember the O.J. Simpson glove from Magic City Con? Did you not see it?
I don't think.
Somebody left a small little black leather glove on our table, and I had him.
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that? And as a joke, I just put the O.J. Simpson glove on it and left it on his table on display, to which he signed it and sent it back to my table as a one-of-one George Lowe autographed O.J. Simpson murder glove. And I think I ended up framing it and sending it to my sister in Seattle. I think she
That's
actually
amazing.
has procured. He actually got pissed at me. He's like, I can't believe you didn't save that. And I'm like, you're right. I should have probably kept it. But it was funny. It was a great Christmas gift. I put a little knife in there and a bunch of fake blood. And
He was always smiling too. Like at the cons that I've seen him at, it
He's
just
never in a bad mood.
no, he really isn't. And it's like you almost can't get him down.
And he's literally, once you wind that cat up too, man, he's a performer, man. I
Oh
love
yeah.
George Lowe. He's probably one of my favorite people, and I've known him for a long time, and he's a close friend now, and that's why I call him Uncle George, as I
Yeah.
frequently ask him for advice and wisdom in his craziness, and he gives it to.
I mean that's something super special where you can always say, "Hey, I get Space Ghost giving me life advice." It's
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That's true. I used to prank call him as Space Ghost, and he'd get pissed off. He'd be like, "Hey, stop that! That's my gig. You'd better stop
That's
that shit.
funny.
That's my job."
that's funny.
He's a great, man. Great
Yeah.
man. One day we'll get him on here. We'll have to do a live. Well, maybe we'll go to Florida or something, and hang out with
Yeah.
him one weekend.
Then we can go to Star Wars Land.
Star Wars Land.
Yes, I want to go to Star Wars.
What, like the Disney thing? Or?
Yeah. I've never been. I'm a Star Wars fan. I've
I
never
thought
been.
they closed down the hotel
They-
experience, didn't they?
uh,
Close down Galactic Empire
They're
or whatever.
shifting it.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah.
closed it down.
Yeah, because they figured the average Joe could drop like $6,000 a night on a Star
Yeah.
Wars fantasy night.
Yeah,
Yep.
Westworld Star Wars edition.
Yeah, but I
Yep.
mean, did you ever watch the videos about how lame that shit was? Like, it's like, okay, you're
It's
all
like
in a
they just
group.
didn't try.
Yeah, we're gonna bring all 100 guests into the room, and you're all gonna do the exact same. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I won't lie. If I had money to just piss away, I'd have done it.
Well, yeah, of
Oh,
course I
yeah.
would have done it if I had that kind of cash.
We were
later.
planning.
Those beds looked awesome.
Yeah, well, you get a monitor for a window, like in
Yeah.
space. But not to be outdone, apparently, like Universal Studios is bringing a Star Trek thing to the California Universal
wow.
Studios.
Nice.
About time, because I'm one of the old generation that actually got to go to the Vegas thing, and it was the shit.
Oh, I forgot that was there.
The Vegas Hilton thing. Before they closed that down, that thing. I had a friend who got married, and he went and got married at Caesar's Palace, and I went, but I stayed at the Hilton because my nerdy ass was
Yep.
not gonna miss eating a cheeseburger at Quarks. And I
that's
did.
right.
It was awesome.
I think when I went to Vegas, they had already closed it, so I didn't have a chance to really go. So I had to look for the Hello Kitty Cafe.
And it was awesome because it's like they had the normal part of the hotel, but once you crossed over into the little holodeck area,
Yeah.
the little entrance or whatever, you were fully immersed into Star Trek. They had Klingons and all the staff wore costumes.
That's awesome.
And they would not break character to save your life. I sat at a bar at Quarks with a Klingon for 3 hours, and I tried like hell to get. I'm like, come on, man, how much are they paying you to do this?
We
Are you like
need-
minimum wage, or are you getting like SAG money here, or what's the story? And he was not having it. He was like, don't be a sissy, drink more blood wine. I'm like, I don't drink. He's like, you are tonight.
Hey, Vegas
That-
money, man.
That's probably number two
Vegas.
drunk right there. That was probably sometime around the same time. Like, they had a thing there called the Warp Core Breach, and I wish I knew what it was now. Maybe a fan or somebody will text us or message me on Facebook, but
Yeah.
it was so bad that you had to have a friend drink it with you. They wouldn't single serve it to you.
Wow.
It came in like this weird, like alien fishbowl looking thing. Because I saw one, but you couldn't order the Warp Core Breach without a friend because it was just gonna just essentially fuck you up so bad you couldn't
Wow.
finish it on your own. I know some raging alcoholics. I would have loved to have dropped down there with them
Right?
and be like, hey man, let's just say this is for us, and then you just polish this thing off.
That's the only
And I keep
time.
you from getting arrested for the rest of the night.
That's the only time that you'd really find me drinking or anything like that is with with friends. So
Have you been to the Star Wars thing in the Disney? So you haven't been at
No.
all? No,
Nope.
I've had for a
Nope.
few friends go. I would want to build a lightsaber. That's cool, but
well, we did build a lightsaber. But that was at Star Tours, like, because they had redone Star Tours before
Those
they.
Was that
had
the Michael
plastic
Jackson
one.
thing?
Yeah.
It was a little plastic one.
Was that the Michael Jackson thing? The Captain, or was that no? That was Captain, EO.
That,
Right?
Captain EO was at Epcot.
Is that
Um,
still there?
As far as I'm aware, I
Didn't they
don't
just shut it
know.
down recently?
I
I
think
don't
they
know.
just shut it down because they redid Epcot completely.
King of Pop
Last
recognized.
time, last time we were there, they had like a whole bunch of pathways closed and stuff like that. And this was when was the last time we went? Well, about 6 years ago. It's been quite some time. It was pre-COVID, yeah. And they had closed a bunch of pathways and said that they were going to be redoing all of it. The Starlight pathway, I guess they were going to rip up that entire thing, which I was really upset about because I think that's the coolest thing. Is the when you're walking down the path and you've got all the little like pin light stars on it
Sure.
at night. And but yeah, so they've redone a whole bunch of things at Epcot. The only thing that they left untouched was the World Showcase, as far as I'm
I
aware.
don't even know what that is.
That's where you just go around the lake and you've got all the different worlds, and they have like shops and stuff like that
Yeah, right on.
yeah, some of them have rides, like Norway has rides, but they turned that into a
Is it all like?
Frozen.
Is it all stereotype shit? Like, you know,
It
you're in
was.
Norway, so you're gonna ride like a Viking cruiser.
That's
and,
exactly
yeah, okay,
it. That's
yeah.
exactly what you did.
Like, what
Yep.
do you do when you go to the Japan thing?
There's really nothing at Japan other than a really good udon place.
Oh, well, see, well, there you
Yeah,
go.
they had pretty good udon.
I had a miserable experience in Orlando a few years ago. I will not likely ever go back. Not because it was bad town or anybody was just a complete dick or anything, but I am 6'8", and apparently they didn't build that city for my giant ass. Because my wife and our kids, we went down there and we had the fast passes for Disney and Universal and all of it, and I couldn't ride a damn thing. Like they were like, "You
You're
risk
just
head
too-
injury. You're too tall."
Oh my god.
I'm like, "Are you serious?" I filmed crap for the Mission Breakout Guardians thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't even go on the ride to see myself. My kid was like, "You were great." I was like, "Thanks." You know, she
See,
enjoyed it.
That shocks me though, because like the Mission Breakout, like that's
'Cause I
what the
guess it goes
Tower
up
of
and-
Terror was, isn't it?
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
goes up and down, and I guess I could
Yeah.
risk a neck injury if I'm on there
Oh
because I got
Lord.
a 45-pound head. But they
That's-
wouldn't let me
that's-
in there, and but you know what's really uber cheap about the whole thing? They wouldn't even refund my ticket to the parks. They gave me back my fast pass money
Oh
because
my
they're like,
god.
"You're just gonna have to sit here like a
That's so
turd
lame.
and wait for your family and be angry all day." And I did. That's all I did. I sat out
Well-
baking my pasty white ass in the sun in Florida, miserable, watching them have a great time on roller coasters and all this stuff. You know what? I did get to ride two things. I take that back. I got to ride that train to Hogwarts like 4 times. Like because they wanted to go back
Yep.
and forth to Hogwarts, and I got to
Yep.
ride that like disgusting 50-year-old like ET ride that smells like
Oh,
pee.
yeah.
Have you been in this thing, man? It's horrible.
It's
It's
been
like
a
that
while,
little
but
shitty
yeah.
bicycle thing that you just ride around, and this thing is like so old, like the animatronics
Oh,
are like
yeah.
haggard and falling apart.
It was there when I first went to Universal, which I was like
Right.
6.
I mean, don't get me
Maybe.
wrong, ET in the house all day, Steven Spielberg. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, I mean, it
Like,
just
the
smelled
paint
like
job on him. It's like, you know, a
you
zombie,
could tell
flesh
like
falling
this
off a
is
zombie.
not the popular attraction anymore in Orlando.
No.
Like this, they have let this thing go. It smelled like old diapers and
Yep.
pee. Like it just
pot. It smelled like pot.
and
when
pot.
we
Yeah,
went.
because that's probably the only place in the park that's not being watched because nobody gives a shit about ET
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
people ride it and smoke.
yeah, they get high and then they go off and do something fun like the
Yep.
Harry Potter broom thing over at Gringotts or something. You know? But yeah, they wouldn't let me ride anything, so I just had to kind of follow the wife and the kids around.
That
and
sucks.
and it was great too because they loved to rub it in. They're like, "Oh man, we did the Harry Potter thing. It was amazing. You should have been there."
It is
Oh, man, we
actually
just-
a really awesome ride.
We just went to the Hulk coaster, man. It was amazing. You should have been there.
See, I haven't ridden
We're going
the
to
Hulk
Disneyland,
coaster.
the what is it, City Disney or whatever. It was great. You should have been there.
We've been to Universal pre-COVID, but the only thing we actually really did was the Hogwarts.
And
Both
Jurassic
the
Park.
parks. We did Jurassic Park too, yeah, because
could-
I have to do Jurassic Park.
I do remember they had the Spider-Man thing, and you could totally tell that they don't give a shit about anything Marvel at Universal anymore.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no.
we're just holding on to this license to be dicks.
I think they took it out. I think that's
think
the
they are.
Transformers now.
Yeah, and so we were there, and then I got to, and for years as a little kid, I lived over on the other side of the country. So finally, I'm near enough to where I could ride the Spider-Man ride, the 3D Spider-Man ride.
And you
we
grew
got on
too
there.
much.
No, they actually let me on it, and it broke down like 20 seconds
my
into the ride. The
God.
whole thing just shut down and farted out, and it was
That's
like, please
terrible.
deboard the ride and take the emergency exit to your left. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like
That's
the only other
awful.
thing in the park, and it's out for the day. Sorry.
Yeah, when I lived there, that ride was always broken.
What, or Spider-Man, the
Yeah.
3D Spider-Man?
If you could manage to even get on, it was
Right.
going to break before you finished.
Right, because I think I got to the point where Spider-Man hopped onto the front of the car and Doc Ock was throwing some shit, and then that was it.
And
It was
that's
like,
almost exactly where it breaks every time.
right. But, Disney bought Marvel, so, they're just like, again, they're just being dicks. They just don't want to give it up so Disney can't build a park. But I guess
Yeah.
Avengers...
They're doing it
Center-
anyway.
Yeah, they did it anyway. They're like,
Yeah.
you can keep your tired ass old roller coaster. We're going to make it like Marvel World, and I'm sure
Well,
it's amazing.
I think
I wouldn't know because I couldn't go.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think they
7 movies in, I still can't go.
right. And even if you did, you wouldn't be able to ride any of the rides.
Right.
But no, I think.
Where's the asshole playing me in the park? Where's the 7-foot tall Ravager running around Disney World? I want to meet that guy. Like, how'd you get the gig?
That's if they could find someone.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but no, I think it's either the Spider-Man ride is either Transformers now or it's Men in Black, because they have a Men in Black 3D.
Well, Men in Black was already
thing.
over there. I saw
Was
that. I
it?
think there was a thing where you could go in there and shoot
Yeah,
aliens
yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Kind of like the Buzz Lightyear ride.
Why does Universal have all the old tired ass properties, man? Like,
Because it's Universal and they're always a step behind.
that's cold.
Well, they did drop a lot of money on Harry Potter.
They did drop a whole lot of
that
money
Harry
on
Potter
Harry
land
Potter.
is insanely cool. I ain't gonna lie
And now they have the Super Mario World too.
That I
in
would pay to go back
California.
and see.
I would love to go
to you.
see
I would
that.
love to go see Mario World. They need to
Yeah.
pay me to go see Mario World because I'm lazy and I'm tired and I don't want to go.
I
But I'd go if you gave me money.
just don't have any money to do it.
Right.
I mean, that's where I'm stuck. I haven't been back to Disney like since before COVID because just it's so expensive now, and and someone won't let us drive, so we've got to fly anyway, and flying's so expensive. So
You catch it at the right times. You can go do some stuff.
that's true. But yeah, we just haven't really had a chance to do that. But now,
If I
Yeah.
was going to do anything like that, spend that kind of money, though, I think I'd want to do the Lord of the Rings thing in New Zealand.
oh yeah.
That would be kind of rad.
That
wouldn't
would be pretty awesome. And you'd get him going for that one because then
He's
he'd
a
get to
hobbit?
go see he'd get to go see the cockapos.
Yes, cockapose.
I'm sorry, the what?
The cockapos.
Cockapose.
You're going to go look at cocks?
A pose.
Cockapose.
Oh, what is that?
Cockapos. It is a bird. It is a
Oh.
giant freaking bird.
It's a
It
giant
is
cock
literally this big. It is so big. And it is
doing a cock pose.
I mean they
They
like
are
to
pretty horny.
Yeah, I was gonna say they do like to screw around a lot. But no, they are the largest land bird, I think. Well, not land bird, parrot, I think it is. And they will climb up trees because that's where all their food is. But they can't fly because
They
their
got huge-
ass is too heavy to fly. So they just drop like a freaking rock. Just drops right from the.
I hear you. Nature, right
Stephen Fry has a documentary on
Yeah, he
them
was following in the footsteps of Douglas Adams.
after Douglas
And it
passed
was
away.
Douglas's favorite
Right.
bird.
on. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas
Yeah,
Adams, right?
yeah.
And Stephen Fry said it was the only bird that could fall with the grace of a bowling ball.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, now you piqued my interest. I'm gonna go look this up on Google. Here
I'm
in a
telling
minute.
you, it's amazing.
With
They're
the
amazing.
Stephen Fry video, there's actually footage of it. One
Having-
mating with the cameraman.
Yeah, yeah. The cameraman's head.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he was wearing a green vest,
Right.
so it
Yep.
thought,
I'm gonna have sex with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
went it out on the cameraman's head.
Yep. Flapping the arms and
You know?
yeah,
Right on.
smacking.
How the hell did we get onto
smacking
this
him in
from
the face.
Batman the Animated Series?
I know, right?
This is gonna be like a total staple of
So
this entire show
derailed.
every week. It'll start out as something legit for like the first 4 minutes, and then it's gonna get sidetracked into something.
Expect it. Expect it.
Expect it.
I think we both have ADHD.
I don't even know how to
so
bring it
it's
back
like,
around to Batman, to be honest with you. I mean, after like Billy D. Williams and Orlando and cock posing,
well, here we go. Good segue.
sure,
Is there a parrot-based villain
parrot-based villain.
or a bird-based one?
Well, there's
Wasn't there
Penguin.
Owlman and the Watchman? Was it Owlman? Was that his name?
I think so.
The Watchman?
Well, there's
think
also
so.
the Court of Owls in Batman.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that whole story fucking sucks. Don't
I
even
mean,
get me
there's
started
also
on that.
Penguin.
I know some people probably liked
Penguin.
it. That story was garbage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Penguin was
Penguin?
yeah.
Did you forget the Penguin?
Yes.
What kind of Batman fan are you? I know you better than this.
Someone who's been scarred by Colin Farrell.
That is true.
So you're not looking forward for the HBO Max series starting tomorrow. I'm gonna watch it.
It is starting tomorrow. Wow, that
It's either
came
today
out
or
fast.
tomorrow.
We'll watch it.
I just don't know how to feel about it.
But Agatha All Along starts on the same day, and I thought that was some
Oh, that's
strategic
right.
planning.
That started today.
Is that
Today?
today? Okay, so
Yeah.
they both start today then.
I know what we're doing
Oh,
later
I'm gonna be
tonight.
watching. I'm gonna be watching Tulsa King. Fuck both those shows. But Sly Stallone, man, and the first believable thing he's done since the original Rocky movie.
Actually, maybe we need to wait until after Murders and Lord of the Rings is done.
What murders in the building?
Yeah.
Everybody keeps
Oh
telling
my
me.
God! Only Murders in the Building is like probably my favorite show. Like
I'm intrigued
lately.
by that because I love Martin Short.
It
and
is so great.
I love Steve Martin, and just those two together just seem like that's a winner. And Selena Gomez, is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say she's very good too.
She is.
The three of them playing off each other is amazing.
Right.
They're great. It's great. And then you get, of course, the guest stars. You have Sting coming in. You've got
The wrestler?
Paul Rudd. No,
I was like,
no.
the wrestler Sting is on Only Murders in the Building?
Sting had it first.
No, he did not.
Did he not?
He did not. Sting the performer has to pay Sting the
he
wrestler a
really?
royalty every single year.
Wow.
But the story goes that I've heard is that Sting the wrestler is a fan of Sting the performer and only charges him $1 a year for the rights to use that name.
That's sweet. Aw,
Yep.
Sting, I love you.
Yeah.
You're great.
Go Steve Borden, man. You're a good guy.
You're a great guy.
I mean, the Cole
Yeah.
Crow thing was awesome too.
But no, Sting comes in. They've got Paul Rudd in the third season, which was great.
Paul Rudd's great and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just. You have Jane Lynch, who's
Jane Lynch is
fantastic.
great in everything she does.
Shoot, I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now. I see her face and I can't think of her name.
Death Becomes Her.
Yes, yeah.
Talking about
Meryl Streep.
Meryl
Meryl
Streep.
Streep. There it is. Thank
She's
you.
been on that too.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. She's a big role in the third season. Yeah. No, I mean it is a great show.
Again, how could you screw up with Steve Martin?
Right?
Martin Short.
And Martin Short, right? Seriously. It's fantastic.
But segueing back to the Penguin, not exactly the coolest villain ever. It was my understanding that Bob Kane came up with that because he saw a little guy on a cigarette package and he ripped it off, much like he did everything else with Batman. But Bill Finger.
Danny DeVito kind of made that.
Danny DeVito
Danny
was the
DeVito
shit.
was awesome as Penguin. Like
Danny
he
DeVito
actually
is the shit as anything he does.
That is true. But I mean he made the Penguin actually like
Scary, like
Yeah.
like a serious villain.
Yeah, I mean he's not even that serious like in the comics. Like he's not that ruthless in the comics. And then
Well, he was so over the top, but I think Burgess Meredith kind of cemented that in. And then,
Yeah.
like, how do you take this guy seriously?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, and the umbrella thing, and then you got Danny DeVito who came in and Tim Burton that were just like, let's just turn it into a horror villain.
Yep, and I love it.
So-
A horny horror villain for that matter.
Perverted, horny horror
Yep.
villain. Yes.
So who was it who voiced Penguin in Batman animated?
Oh
I can't remember.
shoot! It is someone. It is someone. I
Well,
have to-
yeah, it was some. I can't remember his name.
No, but
either.
it was someone. It was someone pretty big. Batman.
Hamill was the Joker. I know that.
Let's see.
I remember Andrea Romano was the voice director, I think, and cast person for that show.
Yeah, she is. Let's see. Batman the Animated Series. Where is it? Cast...
Paul Williams.
Huh?
Who?
Paul Williams.
Paul Williams.
Well,
Paul Williams.
There's so many like.
and what is he known for?
Hang on.
He's a composer, singer. Hang on, let me get a list.
I'm finding it. There he is.
You know, when you edit this, can you put in some like Jeopardy background music, like they're looking for the answer on?
Absolutely.
I mean, Rainbow Connection.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
We've only just begun. Rainy Days and Mondays. Evergreen. Just an old-fashioned love song.
Yeah, he wrote all those.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Oh. Do you remember Dexter's Lab?
Yes.
Okay, the episode with the music guy.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that was Paul
that
Williams
was
too.
based on Paul Williams.
Well, there you
I
go.
can't remember.
Yeah,
if
he
voiced
looks.
it or not,
He
but it
looks.
was based on him.
He looks just like him. Yeah. No, there's like. I keep forgetting like people like Richard Mole and stuff like that were part of this. It's crazy.
Adrian Barbeau. That was
Yep.
pretty cool. Brock Peters playing Lucius Fox. He only had like one episode, but boy, what a great one it was.
And then of course, Adrian Barbeau. Yeah, there's like so many. So many.
Ed Asner is Roland Daggett.
David Warner. David Warner.
Ra's al Ghul. Yeah,
As
I knew
Ra's,
that
yep.
one.
Until Liam Neeson, that was the voice I heard.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
David Warner is like the gold standard for bad guy, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going all the way back to like
right.
Tron,
Ron Perlman, Roddy McDowell.
And since I'm a Star Trek fan and we brought up David Warner, you cannot go without mentioning how many lights do you see?
Yeah.
Picard,
Oh,
one of the
God,
great episodes of Star Trek Next Generation.
Which, I mean, David Warner was also in Gargoyles.
Yep.
So
Which one?
he was the Archmage.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was. Yeah,
Yep. Yep. He was the
I
Archmage.
think Hollywood is very guilty of casting the British guy as the bad guy. 'Cause
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just so good at it.
Oh, yeah.
The stereotypical British bad guy.
Yep.
Jeremy
Yep.
Irons, Die Hard. I mean, come on now.
Oh, come
That
on,
was
right?
a Die Hard 3. Yeah.
Well, because if you can't get Alan Rickman, you get Jeremy Irons.
Right.
Yeah.
To play his brother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hans Gruber's brother.
Yep.
And is it really ever Christmas without having Hans Gruber thrown off the Akatumi Tower?
Nope.
Yeah. Apparently, the two of them actually make that joke with each other. It used to.
We used to, yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw Alan Rickman do, though, was, what was it, the CBGB's movie, the biopic about Hilly Crystal. And it was amazing.
Huh.
Like, it was fucking amazing. Like, how good he was.
We're gonna have to look into that
And I
one.
have a friend who hung out at that place for years and years and years in the early 80s. He said, yeah, he did a really good job with that character. Can't all be Snape.
No.
He
Well,
also,
Jeremy Irons was at one point
What?
Snape.
Was he going to be Snape at one point in the casting
No,
of things?
no,
or-
he actually played Snape in French and Saunders. French and Saunders is a
Red
British.
Nose Day comedy special. I
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a joke.
Yeah.
They did a
Okay.
Harry Potter like
Spoof
skit.
thing. Right, okay. I
So
gotcha.
so when Alan Rickman adjusts his what is it, the third movie? Yeah, where he adjusts his cuffs before he just like smacks both the kids' faces down, which both of them are like laughing, which is why they had to not show their faces because they were laughing so hard. But yeah, it was Jeremy Irons did it first, and he's like, it's a little shift to the cuff, and it's just
It was much better wig this time.
yeah, that's right.
It's on the cuffs,
Yeah, something like that.
and he did the little tug,
Yeah,
and then Alan Rickman in like movie 4 or 5 was like,
yeah, he
Tug, tug,
fixed
tug,
he
tug.
fixed it, and then boom. It was just like we saw that in the theater. We just really started dying out laughing, and I know Harry Potter has kind of a bad rap right now, for reasons, but it's really hard to not talk about certain actors and stuff like that without bringing up their roles and
Right. As a wrestling fan, we always go back to the Chris Benoit theory. Can you still appreciate his work even though he did something super
Yeah.
fucking horrible?
yeah.
And that's the question. It's like, because he did a lot of cool stuff, but
Yeah.
he did something really, really
Yeah,
horrible
yeah.
too,
Yeah.
Or even the Michael Jackson stuff, which personally I don't believe any of that bullshit, but honestly, like, could you still not, I mean, who doesn't like Smooth Criminal? Don't give me that
Yeah,
shit.
that's true. That's
could
true.
hate on him
I
all
love
day
it.
long.
I love that song.
Huh?
Thriller.
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 Yeah, I mean, you can hate on them all
It's
day
never
long, but you
Halloween
can't
without
not
Thriller.
acknowledge these songs, man.
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
or bad, whether you did it or not is irrelevant, I think. That's just pop culture iconic
And
stuff.
honestly, I think the actors made that story like more than she ever could. So that's just my opinion on it, you know.
We talk about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bringing it back around, Alan Rickman and 90s cartoons.
Right.
His greatest role, arguably, in my opinion,
What?
King of the Hill.
Was he King of the Hill?
Yes, he
Yes.
was in King of the Hill.
Did he? Who did he play in King of the Hill?
He was the king in the Renaissance Fair episode.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And at
Yeah, I
the
do remember.
very end, he breaks into a terrible Texan accent.
And it is
Does he really?
hysterical.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no, they're gonna take my fair.
Yep.
Boy, I tell y'all what.
It is hysterical.
You know what you need here on this podcast is a good propane regulator. This here's the best one they make. I don't know if that was good or not, but.
Mm-hmm.
But nah.
Yep.
So trying to get back to like my side of things when it comes to, 90s cartoons.
Were you born in the 90s or were you
No.
alive?
I was alive.
Okay.
I was very much alive.
How old were you in 1990?
I was 7.
I would have been 14.
Yep.
So am I doing the math right? Yes.
Yeah.
I would have been like 13, 14 years old, somewhere around there.
Yep. I was 7.
You were
So-
7. You don't even remember the 90s.
I do remember the 90s. I remember the 90s very much.
Did you ever own a
actually.
hypercolor shirt?
Yes.
Did you ever own a pair of Guess jeans?
I think I was too young for that.
I still own a pair of Guess jeans.
Yeah,
You
you
would.
do.
From then. Not
Right, not like
something I bought recently.
Right. Like they had the green triangle on them, correct? Yes.
And the T-shirt.
Right.
But I had FUBU stuff. I had a,
That's more like early 2000s, isn't it? FUBU and like Ralph
no.
Lauren and all that.
No, that was like around 96, 98.
Boo foo, buy us, fuck you. Remember that movie? Was it How High with Method Man and Redman?
We had a Charlotte's
I would-
Hornets jacket.
I would totally
mean,
rock some boo foo.
But yeah, no. I picked Gargoyles. As it is my favorite. Cartoon, mostly because like I always loved the cartoons where there was always that overlying story.
Yeah, it was
That
always
just
continuing arc.
it on, yeah. And Gargoyles, honestly, other than X-Men, was probably the first show that like I remember when it came down to that, overarching story. And man, they went into it. I love Shakespeare because of Gargoyles, because they brought in so much Shakespeare into this dark, gritty, show.
But how often do you watch it now?
Pretty regularly. If I'm in a bad mood and I can't sleep or something like that, I'll put it on.
So I'm aimlessly watching channels and like I'll go straight into Batman animated series. I could still watch that.
Which I do that
show
too.
holds up canonically.
Oh,
even
yeah.
Now. It's like the weird noir look to it. And apparently they brought back another show. Bruce Timm has the new Batman show on Amazon.
Yeah, the
And I
Kid
watched-
Crusader.
And that looks really dope. I've seen a couple of them, but I haven't watched the whole set yet. I got to get around to doing that one as well.
Yeah. But they
But some of this stuff I go back and watch now, like, I was an 80s kid, so it was like Transformers, G.I.
Yep.
Joe, Mask,
Yep.
Centurions,
Yep.
Turbo Teen, admittedly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was young.
Banana Man,
I was young during
Silverhawks.
those.
Silverhawks,
Silverhawks,
Thundercats, all that
She-Ra.
stuff. And Thundercats was the only other show I could think of when you were talking about Gargoyles being a linear story arc. It's like, yeah, Thundercats was the only one that had a beginning, a middle, and an end. They actually got to end that series,
Yeah.
which was cool. Because that never happens on TV. We get a final episode.
Yeah.
And all it does is piss you off as a fan.
Right? Because you always want more. I mean, they did it to Gargoyles too. They had an ending story, which, an ending episode. Granted, it's in the Goliath Chronicles, which was when they brought it to Saturday mornings. In the very late '90s, or it was like had to have been like '98 ish. And yes, I still watched it at that point. Because I was going into middle school at that point when it came to 98, 99. So,
The early 90s is when I was starting to pull away from the animated stuff. I was getting into really like old movies, Evil Dead and horror flicks.
oh
And
yeah.
So yeah, I kind of missed all that. Like the Power Rangers thing was just starting up when I was getting in 15, 16 years old. So I missed all that stuff.
Yep.
That was after my time.
Yeah, that was kind of in the middle of mine. Just like smack dab in the middle of
Like
everything.
Ninja Turtles was the last big landmark
Oh, I
cartoon in like
loved
89,
Ninja
90.
Turtles.
That's the last big cartoon. Was it 89 with the Ninja Turtles? Or was it
I
87
believe
somewhere on
so.
there?
I think it was 89.
I want to
Because
say it was 1989.
the movie came out the same year that the animated series came out, which I think was 89.
1987 on the cartoon.
On the
Oh, there
cartoon,
you go.
really?
Movie came out 89.
89. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was
knew
gonna say,
the
it had to
movie
be
came
either
out
way.
89. I knew that for sure.
What a great year for cinema. You had Ninja Turtles
Right.
and the Batman, and I think you had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was the
Yep,
same
which
time.
is in my opinion the
The
best
best of all three of them.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, all three of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember the Christmas those VHS tapes came out.
Mhm.
Everybody got some sort of tape.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, because they sold them the Indiana Jones ones, because they sold them at McDonald's.
Okay, so if you see, I know you younglings weren't really around then. So as far as VHS is concerned, like they were around before then, but Batman the '89 movie is
Mhm.
what literally sold VCRs at
Yeah.
that point. Like people had them, but I mean it was still like you were paying like $100 for a tape.
Yeah.
I mean you could go to Blockbuster and like the mom and pop rental stores, and you could rent shit all day long, but nobody really had a VHS collection until that movie hit. Then everybody had it. They dropped that shit at like 1999, and everybody was hauling ass to Walmart for that
Yep.
thing,
Yeah,
man.
Columbia House.
Yeah.
Roped in
Yep.
so many people with that movie.
Right, yeah, in
Yeah.
the '89 Batman movie, and it's the same way with the DVD era. Believe it or not, Air Force One was the movie that launched DVD players. Like everybody had to have it. Harrison Ford.
Yep.
But I was working at a DVD store when that thing hit. Well, a video
Mhm.
store. And man, when that DVD hit, everybody wanted a DVD player. I remember paying like $800 or $900 for my first DVD player
Man.
because I'm just a movie junkie anyway, and I had a laser disc too. So, but I was like, this is way better.
I paid $60 for a DVD of Masters of the Universe.
Yep. Yep. And we
How long
own
ago was that? Last
We
week.
still have it.
I still have it.
You talk about Dolph Lundgren and
Yeah.
Frank
Yeah.
Langella,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And Frank Langella, recognized that dude was awesome as Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He was
heck
the
yeah.
shit.
Fantastic.
And the costumes were top
Insanely
notch,
good.
fabulous.
You could talk shit about He-Man. I mean, it's awesome, you know, except for the part where they're on Earth. The before and the after is awesome.
Yeah.
They had the teacher from Back to the Future trying to like take out Skeletor's henchman with a 12
Yep.
gauge. I love it.
Yep.
Courtney Cox.
Courtney Cox and Paul Rudd, wasn't it?
No.
Well, no, that was Mac and Me, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Paul Rudd was Mac and Me.
Paul Rudd
God,
was
I
Mac
forgot
and Me.
he was in Mac and
Wasn't
Me.
that an actual McDonald's thing, like
Yes,
a tie-in
it kind
thing?
of was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they financed it.
Yeah. Yeah, something
Boy, they're
like
striking out. They did that one and the Founder, and they lost on both of them.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was Mac and Me because Big Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
And they derived this little weird alien thing from a Big Mac.
And
What does
he's
that tell you about
creepy.
their food? Yeah, it was creepy.
He's creepy AF. Like,
Nightmares
yeah.
for years.
Like, and I'm afraid of ET too, so I mean, I can't exactly say much
E.T..
on that, but yeah. I don't do ET, but I remember watching a lot of Mac and Me when I was younger. But now that I'm older and I've seen like clips of him and stuff like that, I'm like, how did I watch this without
Close.
having
I put
nightmares?
the movie on and you threatened my life.
Did I really?
Yes.
I don't know how I missed that, but it was Robert Duncan McNeil that was in the movie with Courtney Cox. You know, Lieutenant Paris from Star Trek, Voyager.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. I knew Paul Rudd was in one of those movies.
Yep. Mac and
Probably
Me.
the arguably the only good thing about Mac and Me.
Because it's like, isn't it a joke on, what is it, Kimmel, to where whenever he comes on, they show the clip of the kid going off the wheelchair down the hill? Because that's Mac and Me.
Yeah.
And-
James Tolkien was the guy from.
Yeah, James Tolkien.
Was the teacher from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
He was great at probably everything he did too.
Oh yeah, no, he was a great guy.
He played the hard ass perfect.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, Mac and Me.
James Tolkien and like William Atherton, man, they always played the hard ass. Walter Peck.
Walter Peck. Yep.
And he played the scientist guy in Biodome too, which I always That's a guilty-free movie, I think.
That was
Guilt
also
pleasure.
Golden Child. No, wait, no, that was a Golden.
You're
That's
thinking
that.
Charles
I'm
Dance.
thinking Charles Dance.
The
Charles
amazing
Dance.
Charles Dance.
Charles
Yeah,
Dance.
Charles Dance, fantastic.
Again, cast a British guy. Just always
But
cast
see,
a British
he looks a lot like.
guy. He looks like he'd fuck you up for real.
Oh yeah.
Like
But back in the
he
in
doesn't
the
look like a
80s
kung fu or a big guy, but if you mess with him, he would fuck you up.
Back in the
He's
80s, he
got,
looks like
serial
he.
killer energy.
Yeah,
He does.
that's what I'm
he
saying,
really
like-
does.
Game of Thrones, when he first shows up, the first time
Oh,
you
I
see
screamed.
him, he is skinning an animal.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he's in it.
By the time I
Yeah,
got
he's
around it,
terrifying.
I didn't have HBO, and by the time I got around to it, it was already like 6 or 7 seasons or whatever
Yeah,
it is into
yeah.
it, and I'm like, I can't start this now.
Much like Lost, it's kind of like it's best that you don't see the
And
end
my
of it.
wife is all into it. She's like, you need to watch this new series. I'm like, I can't. I don't know anything. It's a prequel. It doesn't matter. I don't know shit about it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
the prequel I'm not that interested in. It has not caught my attention like the original did.
It's again, it's like The Sopranos, man. Find a new show. It's over.
Yeah.
Move on. There's other
Yep.
stuff out there. Like I said, they had like Tulsa King, X-Men '97 was amazing.
We still need to finish it because someone
which-
won't watch it with me.
Shame
That's a
on
good
you.
segue. X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Right?
There's been a lot of remakes or continuations of 90s cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Such as X-Men 97, Thundercats got a remake.
I saw my dog walking past the bar. I was like, how does she get out
Oh.
here? And there's my wife out
Yeah,
there walking
she's
the
right
dog.
there.
Sorry, go on.
No, you
But yeah, no, 90s
are
X-Men
there-
97.
Are there any that you would say
That need to make a comeback.
need to make a comeback, or ones that made a comeback
A
and actually
comeback.
live up to the original?
Well, Thundercats has been striking out multiple times.
Yeah, it's
The
been
Kevin
twice.
Smith He-Man thing on Netflix has been pretty good. The Masters of the
I
Universe
haven't
reboot.
watched that one yet.
It's good. Yeah, I'm digging that.
I'm gonna go out and I mean, obviously, I would love to see a continuation of Gargoyles, and the fact that X-Men '97 is on Disney Plus, that it could happen. I know that they've been promising a live action for Gargoyles for
I think
years.
it's lost.
Years. Well, apparently, like Jordan Peele is all about funding it, producing it, directing it, writing it. Jordan Peele wants to do it
sometimes
so bad.
That's all you need. Look at a property at Disney like Tron. I mean, they
Yeah.
kind of the 2000 movie was all right. Tron Legacy was decent, but it wasn't as good as the original movie.
Yeah.
But you got a guy like
now
Jared
you've got
Leto
another
that's
one.
like, I don't care. I'll finance this thing. Let's do it. So
Yeah.
we got Tron Ares next year.
Which sucks because I hate Jared Leto.
Oh, come on.
I don't like him.
We'll
He's
see.
a creeper. He's a creeper. But that's me.
We'll see. You know, but like, I look at it as a fan.
Don't
At least I got
sue
an-
me.
I
Please
got a-
don't sue me.
I got another Tron movie out of it, so you know, good win, lose or draw,
Yeah.
good or bad. At
yeah,
least I'm
not
gonna get something.
Complain. I'm not gonna complain because I do like Tron.
And the rumor is that Jeff Bridges is in it again, which
yeah, I've heard that.
good for them.
Haven't heard
That was the
anything
chair.
about Boxliner.
No, he's done. He said he's had
done.
enough of it.
Yeah.
They kind of
Not
hosed
blame
him on the last movie because apparently they were supposed to be a sequel and they just waited around too long.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there was. There was a sequel.
he's freeing
They
up
were-
his schedule, and I'm sure he's an older fella now. He's
He
not got
is.
time to just fart around, and
Yeah,
that ship has sailed, so to speak.
unfortunately.
So, yeah, right on. I don't blame him.
I mean, you could always find someone who looks like him.
If I was
That
gonna
way-
if I could bring back any cartoon though, oof. You know, the easiest. I mean, you could say Transformers, but they're gonna do that anyway. It's the only property
They
that
just
Hasbro
did.
gives a shit about,
Mhm.
apparently. Centurions, I think, would be a fun one to bring back. I think the toys would be huge if you brought them back.
Silverhawks would be interesting.
Eh,
I mean,
I was never
just
a fan
because
of
it
that
was,
show.
it was. From what I remember, it was kind of like ho hum, but I can see them do so much with it. It has a lot of potential. You know, like I see a whole lot of potential in it.
I think they already did the live action movie of that. It was called Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a great, great film. My wife refused to watch that for years. Kelly, she was like, no, I'm not watching. This is stupid. And then one night I was gone at a convention or something, and she said it was on Amazon Prime or something, and she sat and watched it. She's like, it's so weird. It doesn't make any sense. He's
Yeah.
like a rock and roll scientist, time traveling astronaut fucking guy. And I'm like, yeah.
We watched
Samurai.
it last week.
Yeah.
We watched it last week.
Yeah, it's a great movie, man. Hey, and what was it? Jeff Goldblum, man, the rock and roll cowboy. I mean,
Yep.
how dope is that? That's like the best role he ever
Named,
did.
New Jersey?
Yeah, and he's from New Jersey. And wasn't he a
I love
dentist
Jeff
too, or
Goldblum.
something like? Yeah, it was like
Oh my god, I love Jeff Goldblum.
again
I
another
absolutely
guy
love
that you
him.
could put him in anything, and he's going to be amazing. I mean,
Yep.
he's Jeff Goldblum. He's an American treasure.
Yep.
Well, and that movie gave us so many great quotes.
Right.
Like, wherever you go, there you are.
Yep. It's true. The other one she watched that she just couldn't wrap her noodle around it was The Naked Lunch with Peter Weller.
I don't think I've seen
It's
that
a
one.
very, very strange movie. You have to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think
Peter
I've seen
Weller
that one.
was also Buckaroo Banzai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In RoboCop.
Mhm.
But he did another, based off a novel called The Naked Lunch. And it's like a writer, and he's like tripping out the whole movie. It's a weird, bizarre movie. Videodrome also falls into that category of weird fucking movies. Just
Yeah,
from-
Videodrome was weird.
awesome movie, though.
Yeah,
That was
it's
the one
been
with Deborah
ages
Harry,
since
though,
I've
too,
seen
wasn't it? She was in one of those movies. Oh, anyway.
James Wood was in that.
Yeah.
movie.
Anyway. So I guess that concludes our conversation about the 90s. We didn't really talk a lot about it, but
We kind of got on segues. But,
it's
you
going to
know.
happen in every one of these episodes. So if you're tuning in to hear about Batman, just expect a Star Wars conversation because
It's
kinda
at
how it
some
rolls.
point. At
Right.
some point.
it's always going to come back to Star Trek or Peter Fonda or something dope.
Yep.
Till
That'll
next
be
time,
fun.
kids, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, sounds great, guys.
Peace.
Bye.